All right, Samuel is an avid learner. Is that what I'm saying? Okay, and digital marketing strategist, and he's joining from Ibadan. So welcome, Samuel. We are happy to have you here. So without wasting much time, we are going to go straight into the business of today. Our facilitator is here already. She has been here. I think she's one of the people who joined earlier. She's Mercy Layemo, and she's a product manager who enjoys making sense of complex problems and telling the story behind every product decision, right? Her journey cuts across Jita, P, Simply Ride, and Movable, where she has worked on products in mobility, logistics, and fintech adjacent spaces. Mercy is a lawyer with an MBA in entrepreneurship and operational management. So she naturally thinks about structure, right? She thinks about risk and how things will actually work in real life, not just in theory. Mercy is known for her curious mind and love for product storytelling, and she believes that when you understand the user story very well, building the right thing or the right product becomes very easier. And today, Mercy is going to be walking us through problems discovery, validation, and user research, right? Every product existing today started with identifying a problem. How do you identify those problems, right? It doesn't just end with you just getting to know the problem and jumping into solving it, right? How do you validate that this problem is worth solving and it's viable, right? Now, how do you conduct research to know who your target audience are, what they need, and the kind of solution they would want to see that can meet their needs. So Mercy is going to walk us through the whole session today. If you are not with your pen and pad, your paper, your book, you can grab it now and stay ready for today's class. I was supposed to be seeing emojis, but nobody is showing it. Mercy, over to you. Yeah, well done, everyone.
All right. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be joining tonight's session. And trust me when I say that we're going to have an amazing time tonight. Okay, please, can you confirm that you can see my screen now? I may not be able to see your reaction, so I'll need someone to speak, please. Sir, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Like Coach B already mentioned, this evening we are going to be looking at problem discovery, validation, and research. And she has taken my bio. This is me in a nutshell. I'm a product manager. I enjoy simplifying problems. In fact, my core is engaging users. So oftentimes, if you check my LinkedIn status, you'll see something like user-centric. Because yes, I understand that at the core of every product is your user. They are your users. The kind of interaction you have with your users, the kind of relationship you build with your users will determine how long, how far you will go as a product. And you will see, you will bear me witness that most of the popular brands, most of the brands that when they are mentioning favorite brands, 1, 2, 3, you will see everybody talk about the same brand simply because they have made their users a very important part of the products that they are building. In fact, they don't build anything outside their users. And that's why this topic becomes very important for anyone just starting out in product management, anyone already rooted in product management, and anyone just transitioning to product management, any professional. I am saying this because I've seen product managers, they join an organization and they begin to run. Oh, so there's a feature that they are building, there's an additional feature that management is requesting, and you see people join organizations and start to run with comments, statements made by stakeholders. In real world, this kind of product management is called Oga-driven product management. That is, you are building based on what Oga, quote and unquote, has told you. And that's not how product management works. Over time, when you keep building based on feedback from stakeholder that is probably not using the product, you would get to a point where it becomes a routine. You don't enjoy what you're doing anymore. Even your users, they can't connect with what you're building because you are not getting the information from them. At the end of this evening's lecture, it is my desire that everyone that is going to join will now be able to identify real problems. You will be able to validate ideas. See, I didn't say validate solutions. How to validate ideas, how to validate problems before actually building. Most people do validation after they have built. It's after you have now built, you will now take it and do a pilot and say, oh, do you like this feature? Now, just imagine you spent 3 months building a particular feature, and then you now try to validate that solution, and your users are telling you that, we don't want this. We don't want this. So it is my desire that anyone that has joined this call this evening will not be that kind of PM. You will be a PM that validates an idea, that validates a problem, even when your stakeholders are insisting that I am paying you, I'm telling you to build this now. You will be able to insist on your core principles that, sir, if I proceed to build this, it's at the detriment of the organization. You would be firm enough to say that. I have seen quite a number of CEOs as well, put comments or leave posts on LinkedIn, and they say things like, they regret hiring PMs. They regretted hiring product managers because when you tell them something, they just say, yes, sir. They just pick it and run with it. And that's not the kind of product managers that organizations, global organizations that are very intentional about what they are building, that's not the kind of product managers they're looking for. Also, at the end of this training, that everyone would be comfortable using various user research methods. We're going to talk about quite a number of them, and that by the time you're leaving here, you would be doing user research better than what you currently do. Number 4, you'd be able to ask better research questions. I've been engaged in a number of tear downs, a number of capstone project presentation in recent time, and I noticed that something peculiar, something common with almost everybody making presentation. Well, it's common with entry-level product managers, really. I see that they don't know the right questions to ask. So if you don't know the questions to ask, it will be difficult to get the kind of information you need to validate. So if you're not asking the right questions, validation will become next to impossible because you will not have the answers that you need for the kind of validation you need to do. So at the end of this class, it is my desire that everyone will know how to ask better questions, and finally, how to turn insights, that is the feedback you have gotten from your users, into product decisions that will make your product last. By the end of this session, participants will be able to identify real problems, validate the ideas, ask effective research questions, and translate those insights into informed product decisions. Before I also proceed, I want to say that we are going to be doing a lot of questions and interactions. So I want you to be ready. If you're in a place that is not quiet, this is the time to find a quiet spot, because I'm not just going to be talking, I'm not just going to be discussing, we are going to be practicalizing everything that we'll be doing. We'll be practicalizing discovering the problem, we'll be practicalizing the research itself, we'll be practicalizing mapping our insights. We are going to be doing a lot of theory. So please join me this evening and let's make this work. Let's make this work. Let me see our reaction to confirm that we're really going to make this work. Let me see our reaction. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So our agenda tonight is quite bulky, but I'll try to shorten it as much as possible. On the agenda, we have starting with the actual problem, trying to identify who has the problem we are trying to solve. We're going to try to get into our user's head. as well. And getting into your user's head is what separates a product manager that work based on assumption, what is in their own head, and then they move to a better product manager that is entering into the reality of their users. We'd also be looking at the product manager's research starter pack. This is like the I don't want to say basic, but yes, anyone starting research has to start from this type of research templates. And then finally, we're going to, no, not finally, we're going to also conduct user interviews, how to conduct user interviews like a pro. Then we'll be looking at what did the users say, what have they said based on these interviews, based on these surveys, based on this feedback that we have gotten, what are they saying, how do we map groups together, how do we form clusters, how do we form cohorts, and how do we now begin to prioritize what we want to build based on the feedback. And then this is where validation actually take place. Remember, we want to look at problem discovery, validation, and user research. In real sense, this is how the trend works. You start with discovering the problem, you move to conducting user research. It is after you have conducted your research that you are now able to identify if we should proceed to build based on what these people have done. Would it be worth it? That is what validation is all about. And then once we've been able to validate that, if we go 3 months to build this product, it will be worth the stress. We then need to come up with a problem statement. And that problem statement is what we will run with from start of from the beginning of building the product to the very end. That problem statement is very, very important. For many organizations, is their vision statement, is their missions. That's why they have been established. Many brands actually lose out on their problem statements. They were created to do A, and then along the line, you see them do B, C, D, E, F, G, and at a point, you can't identify where they belong. I saw a tweet very recently, and the person is a marketing guru, and he was talking about how fintechs, they have added data and phone recharge, like airtime recharge to their product. And it's like, if you are a fintech, can you just stay with being a fintech? If you want to do data, let's know is data you want to do. It sounded very funny, but it's the reality. What exactly is your problem? So what are you trying to resolve? That's where you should stay. Don't be everywhere. Don't be Arike pre-order. Don't be doing this, be doing that, be doing. Let us know what you're really standing for. And that's what the problem statement is about. And then we'd also quickly look at common research mistakes that is too common with product managers. Sometimes it's the organization that you're working with that make you behave like this. But more recently, I'm realizing that for every product manager, you have to build a brand outside the organization. Let me explain it clearly. When I say build a brand outside the organization, it is very easy that the only people that know what you can do are the people in your organization, and they may not blow your trumpet. So you must learn to blow your trumpet by doing the right things and positioning yourself very well, so that when they're looking for product managers that know their audience, product managers that will do the right things, your name can be mentioned. Because trust me, one day you might leave that organization and you now have to now rebuild yourself. And just imagine that because you're doing a lot of mistakes, or you're making a lot of mistakes because of where you are working, by the time you leave the organization and you move to another organization with better structure, you will see that you would have shortchanged yourself. So there are some mistakes they are very common with product managers that we will be avoiding from today's class. And then finally, how you can use AI as a bestie, as a tool to make sense of your interview. So let's jump right into our presentation for today. So the first question I have here is, what is a problem? Okay, let me take this away. Let me hear from one of us. When you hear the word a problem, we want to start with a problem. We want to discover a problem. What is a problem? Can I see someone share with us? What do you think a problem is? Anyone? Okay, you can go for it, Ijoma.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So a problem is an issue or like a hindrance.
Okay. Problem is like an issue or an hindrance. So it means every issue is a problem from your definition. Is that true? Will every hindrance be a problem? Will every issue be a problem? Let me simplify. Let me give a very typical example. Let's say I am walking down my street, and I stumble on a stone. That's an hindrance. But is that a problem? Munachiso.
No.
Okay, so we are getting better at what a problem is and what is not a problem. Okay,
Yes.
someone says depends, not okay, depends. Not every, sorry, let me try to read this. Not every problem is a hindrance. Perfect. Then Mr. Ruben says, am I the only one not seeing a screen? Okay, no. I just stopped sharing my screen now. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. So I like the fact that we've been able to identify, please, can you see my screen now? Can you confirm that you can see my screen now? Okay, thank you. So it is very good that we've been able to confirm that not every hindrance will be a problem. And if there's anything that is common with people trying to solve problems, we assume that because something is an hindrance, it is automatically a problem. A problem is anything that prevents users from getting what they want or what they need. There are so many things that people want. There are so many things that people need. But that they want and they need it is not enough for it to be a real problem. It can be a problem. All well and good. It can be a problem. But it might not be a real problem. Why? Because there are many things that would make a problem, a real problem, worth building. Number one, in addition to the fact that it must be something that they want and they need, number one, it must consistently frustrate them. It must consistently frustrate them. The reason why food businesses will sell from now till the end of the age is because people will always be hungry. Now, what we will eat will be dependent on our pockets, but till the world will be over, people will always want to eat. There's another thing people would always want to do. At least we are not in the age where people are fully naked and is acceptable. I know we are turning towards it, but at least the average person wants to wear a piece of, even if it's a piece, even if it's a scarf, people want to dress up. Now imagine that we are unable to get good material, we are unable to get fabrics to make clothes, or we are unable to get food to eat. It constantly frustrates your users. And then number three, makes them give up entirely. So a problem can just be any want or need, but it becomes a real problem when, in addition to being what you want or you need, there's frustration, there's elements of frustration, there's element of you can give up completely because you really want something to solve it. Now, there's one other thing that is not a problem that we always think is a problem: speculations, personal preferences, small frictions. The example that Ijeoma gave us, that a problem is an hindrance, we can call it, sometimes it could be a small friction, depending on what the hindrance is about. So small friction, like I stumble on a stone, I might be angry at that moment, but it's a small friction. If they ask me to pay for the road, I may just tell them that I'm not going to do this. So speculations is even very, very common. And that is where we always reiterate that product managers don't build on assumptions. Speculations are assumptions. You assume, oh, I have interacted with my brother. My brother feels like this thing is a big issue. And then I begin to run because my brother said. At the end of the day, my brother will not be able to pay the engineers that I'm going to hire to build this product. My brother will not be able to pay money for marketing to build this product. It is very important that people believe what you are building. And that is why you will not use one person's speculation or one person's assumption to build. And then there are some things that, there are personal preferences. There are some people, they don't like to eat yam. And because of that, maybe they like to eat akara, for instance. And then you now decide that in this our street, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be selling akara every day. Because I like akara, I assume that everybody in my street likes akara. That kind of product you are building, it might eventually pick up. Anyways, it might eventually pick up. But the truth is, if you're in an environment where people don't like akara, you will only be selling this for yourself and your family members. However, there are some areas where, repeatedly, people are saying it. They are not even selling akara in our street. You heard it in a shop today. You go to maybe another shop, you want to buy something, and then you hear another person say, oh, I really wish they are selling akara. You see, those two scenarios, they are different. For one, it's a real problem that is already frustrating the inhabitants of those streets. And then for another person, it's just speculation. It's just a personal preference. Because I like something, I assume that everybody takes akara now in their house on weekend. And then I go and build. A lot of product managers build based on that. We have been able to establish that a problem, for it to be a real problem, it must constantly frustrate you in addition to being a want. So now that we know what a problem is and what a real problem is and what is not a problem, we need to discover. So how do I discover problems? Mercy has said we don't use what is in our minds. We don't speculate. We don't assume. We don't say because I like this thing, then it must be a real problem. Or because I am inconvenienced, then I must like this problem must be something that exists. So how do we discover problem? Discovering problem is a process. Is a process that is not just one-off. You don't just speak to one person and say, yes, I have discovered a problem. Let me begin to run. It takes a process. And taking a process means a lot of things are going to be involved. You want to understand the pain point. You want to understand frustrations. You want to understand obstacles. You want to also understand what they are currently doing to solve it. So discovering problem is not something that just happens one day. I know that with no-code tools, we are building products in 1 day, we are building products in 2 days, we are building products in 3 days. But some of those products, what makes them actually survive is that they're actually secondary data to serve as like a proof that, this is a real problem. But there are some that you are building that there's no proof. There's nothing to let us know that this is a real problem. So when you want to discover a problem that is worth solving, you will go through the process. It is a discovery, and it involves identifying the gaps between what your users want and what they can actually do. So in it, you want to know their pain points, their frustration, like I mentioned again, what they are currently doing to solve it. Because trust me, if they are not currently doing anything to solve it, it's not frustrating them enough. It's not frustrating them enough. If something is frustrating you, you will have something that you are doing to resolve it. It might not be the best. It might not be the cleanest of solutions, but there is something that they are doing. It is from that something that they are doing that you'll be able to find the solution. So you will see that you are not the one coming up with the solutions yourself. You can actually have a really nice idea in your head, but until your users point you in the direction, it just remains a nice prop, no more, no less. So finding the pain before you build the gain. If you don't find the pain, don't build, because there is no gain there. I think it's Super Story 50 that said no pain, no gain, exactly when it comes to building products. So how do you discover your problem? You have to listen, you have to observe, you have to validate. We're going to talk about validation very soon. No guessing, no speculations, no assumptions. And then, like I mentioned, it is user-centered. See this picture. This is a typical picture of what discovery is about. It is not you thinking about it in your head. Today I'm not feeling so good. So what problem can I solve? I think people in my street will like to eat akara. I think, oh, I stumbled my feet on a stone. Oh, what if I do this road for these people? Will they pay me? That's speculation. We don't want to be here. This is where we want to be. We want to listen. We want to observe. We want to speak to real users, solve real problems. There are some problems that are not real. They only exist in our head. Until we get out of our head and get into the head of our users, we are not solving real problems. So we're going to quickly do an activity now. I mentioned that we're going to be having an activity. So quickly, I want us to take like 2 minutes to write down 3 problems that you are currently facing or that you have faced this February. Just think about something. Think about something. 3 things, actually. Write them down. I need you to write them down. I want to see our reactions when we are done writing. 3 problems that you encountered this month that frustrated you, that annoyed, that vexed your spirit, and that you're already thinking, oh, I need to find a solution. For those in Lagos, it could be that you live on the mainland and you work on the island. And for every morning, you have to leave very early in the morning, get back home very late. You're in a bus, you are crying, you are frustrated. I'm telling you my life experience. So that was a problem. It was a problem for me at a point. So if you have 3 problems that frustrated you like Lagos traffic, I want you to write it down. And then I want to see our reactions when we are done writing it down. So you can begin to think about it. What are those things that are frustrating me? What are those things I struggle with this February? I'm not seeing any reaction. Are we writing? Okay. Okay. Internet, we're seeing someone's. Okay, you can drop it in the in-call message. I've seen one from Caroline. Frustration with internet, electricity, striking the balance between personal growth and job hunt. I want to see more. I want to see more. Maybe we'll take 2 more before we proceed. Please, we don't have so much time. We need 2 more. Okay, fantastic. I got another one, internet issues. Okay. Can I get one more? Okay, in electricity, internet, personal growth, electricity. Okay. Banking issues, internet, bank consultant, and response time. Okay. All right. Let's go back. Work-life balance. All right. Fantastic problems. Okay, let me go back to sharing my screen. Okay, all right. So as we have written it, I also want you to start thinking of how you currently solve it. We are going to be looking at this throughout the course of this conversation. So pick one that frustrated you the most, and also keep at the back of your mind how you are currently solving that issue. Okay, so 5 ways to discover problems. We have talked about that problems can be problems, but the problem you want to solve are real problems that are frustrating you, problems that you want solved anyhow, anyway. So how do you discover problems that are worth solving as a product manager? Number 1, you want to conduct user interviews. Like I mentioned, it is assumption, it is speculation if you're not talking to people. You cannot rely on the information on your head. You have to go outside of your head to discover the problem. So number 1 way to do that is by conducting user interviews. Number 2 is by observation and shadowing. observation and shadowing. This one would be very perfect when you have your users in close proximity. I mean, they are around you. You're not just questioning them. You are taking feedback. Remember the example I gave of the woman or the person that goes around and in the street. It's like every shop you go to, somebody is saying, I wish they were selling akara here. I wish they were selling akara here. You have not asked any question. You have not interviewed anybody, but you are actually getting information from people. No questions, no interviews. They are the ones telling you themselves. So that is another way you can discover a problem. If people in your area, they are saying the same thing, and they are letting you know that, oh, this is how we solve it, this is how you know that there is a problem already worth solving. Another way you can also discover problems is through surveys and polls. Excuse me. This one happens a lot, even on our phones. If you go on YouTube, you would often see surveys pop up because, yes, they need a lot of information. Even our phones, more than once, multiple times, Samsung will just send a survey and they will not let you proceed with what you want to do on your phone until you attempt those surveys. It's a way to get and gather insight. Now, you may not be able to interview 1,000 people. You might not be able to interview 5 million people if you want to be doing one-on-one information by yourself. But you can get larger insights by conducting surveys and polls. I have a personal theory that there are some questions that we actually require you conducting an interview than using a poll. There are some research that you can conduct conveniently using a survey and you will get correct information. But there are some that you need to read the mannerism of the person speaking. You need to see the level of frustration. When you tell people on a scale of 1 to 5, what is your level of frustration? People can pick 3, but when they are talking, their level of frustration can be 100. So it's one of the other things I'll be looking at is how to identify which of your problem discovery sessions, which of your interviews, which of your user research, which ones should be user interviews, which ones could be survey. Then you can also get or discover problems from analytics or data. The data can be in form of secondary data, maybe the Nigerian stats. What do they call these people now? The Statistic Bureau. They can put out a list and say, oh, in Nigeria, we have about 10,000 business companies. You can have maybe small businesses that are like 10,000, or they can say, oh, companies limited by shares or limited companies, they are so amount. And then out of those people that are registered, about 2,000 of them are the only ones that are active. What is responsible for the remaining 8,000 that are inactive? Oh, okay. Just give me a minute, please. There's something I need to do. Please, can you see me now? Is my video on now? Okay, I think my video is on now. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. It's on now. Okay, so like as I was saying, there's some information that you can get from, secondary data. And for some products that are already in the market, you will definitely have your back office, your admin portal, where you can, pick up your user behavior. You can pick up things that are like frictions. You can pick up information on how your users engage. You can know, oh, this particular customer, the last time they interacted with our product was 4 months ago. What is responsible for it? From there, you can begin to pick, this is a problem in our system. This is a problem with our product. This is something we probably want to resolve. And then another one is customer feedback. Customer feedback is, in fact, it's a gold mine of problems. The customer feedback, if you are looking for gold in products, go to your customer feedback. And the people that do the best, that give you this OT very well, ensure that as a product manager, you and your customer service representative, customer success, whatever name they call them, ensure that you are besties. Besties in the sense that before they escalate a problem, they're already in your DM telling you that, hi, this is an issue, or 2 people have reached out to me stating this problem, or I don't want a third person to reach out to me. So from your customer feedback, the support tickets that they are often logging, you can pick up problems. You can begin to identify that this is a problem worth solving. And where do you go? Your where is definitely an offshoot of how you can discover problem. Number 1, your users. It's very, very obvious. And your users can be anywhere. They can be at home, they can be in your office, they can be in your neighborhood, they can be in church, in religious setting, they could be in social setting. So definitely your users can be anywhere. But yes, you would get your problem from your users. Number 2, from task completion. That is, if you were supposed to build something that should follow A, B, C, D, E, and then you have done A, B, C, D, E, and you didn't get your goal, you have identified a problem. So from something that you have completed, you can discover a problem. Another way could be edge cases. You have planned that A, B, C, D, E should work. Now, somebody puts G, A, B, G, C, D, E. Something has obstructed the natural order of that task, and that thing causes a problem. That's a place to find problem. Definitely your support channel, because if you're engaging your customers representative or your customer success and they're telling you that, oh, there's a problem here, definitely from your support channel you can discover problems. From society, from social media, there almost every other day somebody is putting out an online survey, somebody is putting out a conversation, putting up a topic up for conversation, and you are reading it and you're thinking in your head, really, I never thought this was a problem. I thought we were all cool. I thought we were all chilled with this thing. How is this happening? Yes, you can you can discover problems from social communities, from online space, forum, from product reviews, anywhere you can find problems. And then competitors from people that build similar products, similar ideas, or they are solving similar problems like you are solving. Definitely. It could be a product line that they are doing and you're not doing. And you see that people actually like your product, but they keep coming back to tell you that, why don't you people have this? These people have this. Why don't you have it? So you see that even though you are getting the feedback from your customers, you actually have real data to support what it is that you're saying. Okay, so a memory trick you can use to discover how and the where of your problem. For how, you want to think in terms of talking, watching, asking, listening. So how do you discover? You discover by talking to your users. You discover by watching your users. You discover by asking them questions. You discover by listening to them. Then in terms of where you want to discover the problem, you want to look at communities, you want to look at your competitors, you want to look at reality, their everyday reality, their everyday life, their office, their homes, their churches, their social gatherings. And you also want to look at the feedback, written feedback, verbal feedback that they are giving every time they interact with you. Quickly, we look at who has this problem. We've been talking about, your users must be people that are actually experiencing the problem. They must be people that are actually going through that pain and frustration. That alone is enough to let you know that everyone cannot be your user. End of discussion. Everybody cannot be your user. If you are building for everybody, trust me, you're building for nobody in particular. There must be specific group. There must be a specific demography. There must be a specific behavior. There must be a specific pattern of people that you're building for. That your cousin loves your fantastic idea does not mean everybody in Nigeria will like it. It could just be people in your cousin's cluster or in your cousin's cohort. And by cohort, I'm talking about demography. Maybe they do the same job, or they have the same pain points, or they have the same habits, or they have the same motivations and drivers, or they have the same comfort when it comes to technology use. Everybody cannot be your target market. Everybody cannot be your users. They must be grouped in batches like this. Now, it's possible that some group will like it more than the other. Let me give a very typical example. Everybody likes money. Okay, I'm assuming. I think this is an assumption. Let me take a poll. Is there anyone here that does not like money? I just want to see show of hand. I do not like money. Okay, let me twist it. That's a wrong question. I like money. Let me see our hands up. I like money. And I'm not ashamed to say that I like money. Okay, only one person, 2, 3. Okay, we all like money. Okay, at least if I want to build a product that will help you make money on this group, I am not taking it out to every other person. I'm not assuming that every other person like money, but everybody on this group, they've assured me that they like money. If I want to build a product, I will first build with everybody here in mind. Why? If I build for people that are not on this call, and I assume that because, oh, really, it's common sense now, everybody likes money, and I build a product that will now make you pay to earn, once you will see that the drop-off will be very high. Even with the fact that I have said, do we all like money? And we said yes. If I now begin to attach a payment to you making money, you will see that not everybody else will participate. So even though we have equal needs, we are probably not experiencing the same frustration. Now, somebody that does not have money, that I am promising that I will help you make money, and I am now saying to help you make money, I want to charge you money. We are not on the same frequency. That's not my target. The people that I will be targeting are people that want to make money and are willing and available to pay to make that money. That's how we segment and identify who has the problem you are trying to solve. So in identifying your target, you must create a persona. A persona is a person, is a picture of your target market. It is you grouping them that, okay, this is what I want to solve, or this is what this feedback I have gotten from people. I want to now proceed to validate that people in this particular group, they actually wanted to solve. I have to now group them. What demography are they? What are their names? What is their age? Where is their location? What job are they currently doing? What is their financial standing? What are their natural goals and objectives for life? What are their pain points? What is the frustration of this particular group? The frustration that an 18-year-old is facing is different from the frustration a 30-year-old is facing, depending on the problem you are trying to solve. The habits can also influence what can be frustration for Mr. A and what will be frustration for Mr. B. So before we begin to interview different people, we have to ensure that all the people that we are interviewing, they fall within the persona of our target. You can't build for everybody. You can build gradually for different groups. You can build for group A, build for group B, introduce a product line that will be able to satisfy group D. But if you want to start everything from the beginning, trust me, it's a recipe for disaster. So what we're supposed to quickly now do, based on the problems that we have identified, based on the problems that we went through this February, and the solutions that we are currently using to solve it, I would want us to create a persona for the kind of people that we should be asking similar questions. I'm going to give you, how do I call it now? I'm going to give you something to simplify it for you. Look at yourself. What is your demography? What is your job role? What are your personal goals and objectives? What are your pain points on one of the problems? What is the thing that frustrates you the most about electricity? Somebody has electricity. So I highlight the many things that frustrate you, that lack of electricity, causes for you presently. And then how comfortable are you with tech? That is how you find your persona, because you are the one we are using as a target. So I want, even if it's just one person to create a persona and share in the inbox. So what you are going to be giving us, you're going to be giving us name and demography. Demography is age, religion. Yes, because there are some products that are religion sensitive. So you want to include name, age, religion, then job, what the person is currently doing, whether he's employed or whether you're employed or unemployed, or you're actively searching for a job. You also want to include your current earning. I hope one person is doing Ade. I think there's one Ademola. Are you doing that for us now? Are you doing the persona for us, or you want to ask a question? Hi, Ademola.
No. I don't have any
Okay.
questions.
Okay. All right. Can we get someone to volunteer for us to set up their persona quickly, so that everybody can see what it's like to set up your persona? Do we have any volunteers? Or do I call a name? Do we have anyone volunteering? Because we want this to be as practical as possible. I could have done the persona, but this will be me assuming I know your age, or I'm not saying give us your exact age, but give us something in the range of people going through the issue you are going through, so that we are not making any assumptions. Or is the issue coming up with how to set up your persona? Is that the issue? Can I get a feedback? I want to know.
Sorry, are we writing it as a message right here, or how do we do
Yes,
that?
yes. Okay. So I want to ask a question. Do we know how to set up a persona based on the example I have now given? Do we know how to set up a persona? Let me see our reaction.
I can give it a try.
Okay, give it a try. What problem are you trying to solve?
Okay, for example, I'm trying to solve a problem. Okay, me not being able to learn the technical skills, so I want to use that as a problem.
Okay, is something that you're currently experiencing, right?
Yes.
It's something that you're currently experiencing. How do you currently solve your inability to learn a technical skill?
Okay, one of my pain points is lack of resources, which is money and a laptop.
Okay, fantastic. You really want to learn, but you don't have resources. That's one of your pain points. You don't have money for maybe some of those courses, and you don't have a laptop. But do you currently use your phone to learn some of those courses?
Yes, I use my phone.
Hi, Ademola.
I'm using my
Adesola.
phone, correct.
You currently use your phone.
Yes, I'm currently using my phone.
But okay, and then sometimes the phone can be very hot, or it can be lagging, or there are some things you can't open on the phone, right?
Yes.
Okay. So those are some of the issues. But in setting up your persona, you must have this information there. You must, it's compulsory that you have this information. I'm trying to, okay. So in setting up your persona, let me open this. Can you see my screen now? Please, can I get someone just say yes, so that I'm sure that you're seeing my screen? Okay. So in
Yes.
setting up,
Yes.
all right, thank you. In setting up your persona, there must be a name. So let me show you an example of what a persona is like. Let me show you an example. I'm going to show you an example of what I mean by a persona. You must have a persona. Okay. I'm going to share a project I worked on recently. And I'm going to show us what the persona looks like. Okay, no, I don't want to use clear. I want to use the paste stack or the paste stack just a minute. Okay. Okay. I just want to show us what a real persona, when they say you have to set up your persona and be very detailed in the description of your users. This is what we mean by that. You don't want to make any assumption, because this persona you set up would influence the people that you are interviewing. It would influence, or perfect, I have it here now. Okay. It would influence the people that you are interviewing. So you're not going to be interviewing just anybody. You're going to be interviewing people who are really going through what you want to explain. Just a minute. It's loading. I think it's my network. Okay. Okay. Let me share this now. Please confirm that you can see my screen now. Please, can you see my screen? Can anyone see my screen? Okay, fantastic. Okay, so this was a product that I worked on. I'm trying to, okay, this is it. So this is what a typical persona looks like. See, persona 1, there is a name and there's a brief description of who the person is. I think I need to start from the beginning so that you can understand what this product is about. You can't see my screen? So please, can anyone else confirm that they can't see my screen? Please, can you see it now? Is it better now? Okay. So this product is Oga Doctor. So the idea behind the product is to make medical services, whether medical doctors or pharmacy or a drugstore, available to, to add to rich places. That is, this kind of places, typically, they do not have good hospitals close by, or they do not have good pharmacy close by, and they have to go a very long distance before they can have access to medical supplies or drugs or medications, really. So in coming up with the personas, these are the people that we know have this experience, because we had to engage public health specialists, people that work at PHCs, primary health centers. And these were some of the kind of people that we met when we went there. We met young mothers who are petty traders, who probably do not have any access to enough funds to cater for their children. So you see, her name is written out, Aisha Kombi. She's a young mother. Her age is written there because it is very important that we identify the age group of the people that we want to sell the product to. She's a petty trader. Definitely her income will be low. She does not have, she's not an illiterate, but she is not also super literate. She only has an SSC. Her location is Ondo, Nigeria. And the bio of Aisha is she's a mother of 2 and pregnant with a 3rd. She works long distance for prenatal checkups. The things that motivate her, even though she's semi-literate, she does not have enough money, she's probably living from hand to mouth, she actually wants healthy children. She wants healthy children, and she wants to be able to get good advice when she needs it, health-wise. So the questions, based on the questions that we asked her, we realized that she wants to be able to properly track her pregnancy so that she does not get, she does not go into labor in the market. So she wants to be able to track her pregnancy, and then she wants to be able to immunize her child. So she needs reminders. She would not mind to get reminders for a child's immunization. A current challenge is distance and limited health information. How does she get her information? From radio or from her neighbors? This is another persona, Bade Amo. This is a farmer. He also experiences chronic pain and most times forgets to use his medication. He can't see very well. His eyesight is poor. What are the motivations? What are his goals? So for each user that is going to be very important for the kind of problem you are solving, you must be able to break them down into these very simple personas. You must, this is like your first step. If you don't break your target market like this, if you're unable to identify them like this in very simple terms, it will be very difficult for you to get good data that you want to validate, because it means that you'll just be interviewing everybody. You'll be taking your survey to just anybody, because you have not been able to identify the people that you really think they need your problem to solve. Let's go back to the example of the person that wants to sell small chops or akara in their environment. Now, you'll be interviewing a person wrongly if that person just came to visit their friend and they will not be staying in your area. Maybe they just came for a month's visit or 2 weeks, but because you always see them in the area, you assume that they're your target. They're not your target. They're not your target. This is what this persona helps you to achieve. It restricts you from just throwing your net into the river and catching any kind of fish. With this kind of persona, with setting up this kind of persona, what it does is it helps you to catch the exact fish that you want to take in the market. We'll quickly continue. I just want to confirm that the concept and idea of persona, we are now familiar with it. We now understand what it is. Let me see our reaction to confirm that we now understand what persona is. Okay. So it means that when next you want to conduct an interview, when next you want to speak with just anybody in the name of, oh, I want to validate this idea, you will not just talk to the whole world. You will first group them into these personas before you begin your interview. So now that you've been able to identify who your target users are, and we've been able to group them, it is now time to move away from your head into the head of your users. And how you do this is by asking questions, like we mentioned, by talking with them, by observing their response. Until you spend quality time with your users, you have not validated your problem. If you only talk with them once and you go, you have not validated your problem. If you talk to them only when you need help, you are not validating a good problem. And that is why a good product manager, on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, you are not just engaging your engineering, you're not just speaking to engineering, you're not just taking stand-ups, you are also constantly actively being involved with customer service activities. You're on call with them. When they tell you that this customer is going through this issue and they have resolved, they've escalated, you want to call the customer. You want to understand their frustration enough that you will carry that frustration, take it to engineering, and tell them that my users are going through this pain. I don't like what is going on. That is when you have left your assumption. Because it's very easy that because you are building something, you have interacted it with the product so much so that when problems come or when you experience problem using that product, you just escalate to engineering, or you just say, okay, this is how we should solve it. But your users will not have that patience. They're not earning a salary using your product. So you want to constantly sit with them enough to enter their reality world and feel their pain and resolve that problem. That's the only way you can build a real need and not speculation, not your personal preference, or not an assumption. And you want to ensure that by the time you're engaging your users, you want to be casual, you want to be open-ended, you want to be very, very curious. So you don't want to dismiss whatever it is they're telling you. You don't want to rush the process. You want to understand them well enough that when they are talking, you can finish their statement and they'll be like, yes, you understand what I'm saying. You understand what I'm going through. Those are the kind of people that users like to talk to, because they know that this person gets me. That's the kind of product manager you also want to be. So the product manager's research starter pack, these ones, everybody should be familiar with it. These are tools that you do, and you don't need a PhD. There are some tools that you probably need a PhD, maybe data analytics tool, very, technical tools that you want to sit down, mix panel and be looking, Google analytics, you want to sit down and be looking at where did this one drop off. We're not going to that length. We are looking at the very, very basic things like interviews. For every time you engage your friend, best believe that you're interviewing. What you're doing is an interview. If you can sit with your friend and say, hey, so that thing that happened, what do you think about it? You are interviewing. So interviews are not, it's not really a big deal that you have to feel like, oh, now that we want to conduct this interview, how do we go about it? Just imagine like you are conversing with your friends. Now, I'm going to also put a caveat. When you are discussing with your friend, there are some terms, there are some languages, there are some feedback that you can give that you will not be able to do when you are interviewing your users. Your users could also be people that you're very familiar with, but that does not give you room to be vulgar in your conversations with your users. Just see interviews as friendly conversation. See it like a friendly chat with someone that you are very comfortable with. Another tool that you can use surveys. Like I mentioned the other time, there are some research that you will conduct that surveys may not be the best, because you want to take body language, you want to read body signs, you want to read body cues. And if you do surveys, you can't read body cues, you can't see the person on the other end. And with the advent of technology, you can even do WhatsApp video call. Like, it's that simple. You don't need to come on Google Chat. You don't need to do, Google Call. You don't need to do Zoom. You don't need to do Loom. You don't need to do all those, you don't even need to do Slack. A simple WhatsApp video call will let you see the body reaction, would let you observe how your users are responding when you're asking questions. You can also do observation. You can just take a walk in your street. You can take a walk where you want to solve the problem. Just take a walk, listen to feedback, keep hearing what people in the streets, what they are saying about the problem that you have been able to identify. Another tool you can use is customers' feedback. That's where you already have a customer base already. And interestingly, you don't need to be a product manager to use customer feedback to work. Even in your personal businesses that you run, every business owner knows how to take customer feedback and use it to make their product better. There was one incident that happened recently. A particular brand, people have been complaining that their customer service representation is terrible, their services are terrible. But unfortunately, they do nice things. Like, they sometimes, because part of the feedback was also that you pay for premium and you get less than premium. There was a lady that bought a shirt for 135,000, a round neck, and without washing that clothes, she wore it only once, and the clothes was already tearing. The stickers on the clothes were already removing for a 135,000 naira shirt. Now, many people came to say, no, that brand is known to do that, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And then when the brand was going to apologize, the brand did not say, oh, we are sorry for this thing. The brand said, we acknowledge what you are saying. So they just said it, and what was supposed to be an apology boomeranged again. Like, we are telling you that you need to say sorry. You are giving us big grammar that is not saying sorry. So those are part of the ways you can research and get feedback. This one is a obvious feedback. They are telling you to say sorry, and you're not saying sorry. You're saying we acknowledge the receipt of what you have said. So you can pick any of this method. You can pick the one that suits what you are trying to solve, the one that suits your end goal. Remember that the goal of your research is not so that you can look or appear complex. It's so that you can be very clear on what you are trying to solve. Then once you want to conduct your interview, I also see a lot of people make mistakes. They've identified the problem they want to solve. They've been able to group their personas, and then they jump into questions, and then they begin to call people. I want you to solve this for me. And can you give me 5 minutes of your time? You don't do interviews like that. If you jump into anything without a plan, the same you that jumped in will jump out. For many reasons, you will not be asking the right questions. You will not be meeting the right people. They will not be giving you the answers that can solve what that you are looking for. They will just be telling you and going in circles. So to conduct user interviews, user surveys, research in general, like a pro, you must have a clear goal. You must have a goal. This interview that we want to conduct, this survey that we want to conduct, what's the goal? What are we trying to achieve? What are we trying to figure out by sending this interview? Then you must prepare your interview questions. It is not when you're on the call with your proposed users or your target that you now be saying, okay, so how do you currently solve this problem? Are you going through this problem? You have to have your prepared questions. However, the questions that you must have prepared, it will be a guide from the response of your interviewee. You will be able to identify the follow-up questions. You'll be able to identify follow-up questions based on how they've responded. But the only way you will be a sharp interviewer is when you actually have your line of thoughts put together. So if the user is saying something that does not tally with where you're trying to drive them to, the other questions you have will be able to push them in the direction you want them to go. But if you don't have a goal and you don't prepare your interview question, trust me, your users will carry you to where you no want go. Take it from me. You can start with a question and then they can begin to gist, and then you begin to ask yourself, but this was not why I called this guy now. Why is this guy? Because you yourself didn't have a plan. You didn't have a plan. So once you've been able to set your goal, what you want to achieve based on the interview you want to conduct, you have to prepare the questions and don't ask too many questions. When you put too many questions, you can bore your users. You want to ask questions that are relevant and important. You don't want to ask them, what did you eat yesterday? If it's not relevant to what you're trying to solve, don't ask it. And then you have to get your user research. I also see a lot of people struggle here. You have prepared, you have set your goal, and then you are waiting for people to come and answer you. You now put the link on your status that, okay, help me answer this. Don't leave it on your status. Enter people's DM. That's how you recruit participants. There was one lady that wanted to work on a PhD thesis, I think mid of last year, I think maybe July, August last year. She reached out to me. She's running a program in Germany. And she said, she's reaching out to 10 product managers. She wants to understand, blah, 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 that would I be willing to participate? And I said, why not? If you have to enter people's DM to recruit them for your user research, you have to do what you have to do to get what you need to get. And another thing is you build rapport before engagement. It's not that it is on the day of the interview. I want to conduct an interview today. Do you have 5 minutes? No. That's not how you recruit. That's not how you get the best from, especially if they are strangers that you want to interview or you want to send the survey to. You will build a rapport. Good morning, how are you doing today? I like your post, By the time you want to enter them with, I have this research to conduct, you have already wet the ground. Conveniently, they will say, no, 5 minutes is fine. We can have it. So when I hear people say, I didn't have anybody to interview, I think it's because you didn't have a plan and you are not doing your recruitment. You're not building rapport with the people you want to interview. You just want to enter the interview straight. That's not how you do it. So before you conduct the interview itself, you have to have set your goal, prepare your questions, recruit participants, and build rapport before conducting the interview. When it comes to conducting the interview, there are some things that are very important. You must get consent. Very, very important that you get consent so that you are not sued for data infringement. Number 2, you want to prepare. If it's something that you want to discuss extensively, ensure that you have read extensively on that subject matter. Don't let it be that you'll be asking your target users questions, and they'll be throwing questions back at you that you can't answer. Ensure you prepare and you are familiar with your questions. Don't let it look like you are reading the question. Let it look like it's coming from the abundance of what you have on your inside. That is how you want to engage your interviewers or your interviewees, because they also read body language. They know when you're confident. They know when the person is not serious. They know when you're wasting my time. You are not sure of what you're asking me. They know. So you want to prepare that you don't give room for your interviewees to be second guessing your person. Very important, you must respect your users' time. If you tell them this interview is going to take 5 to 10 minutes, except they're enjoying the conversations and they are the ones saying, let's go on. Once it's between 5 to 10 minutes, let them know that, you want to round up. Or you let them know that, based on our interactions, seems like we might need some 5 minutes more. If they say, not a problem, please proceed. But if they say, no, I have to do something, please respect their time and let them be. Then make them comfortable. Making them comfortable starts from when you yourself, you're comfortable. You're comfortable in what you want to do. You're comfortable in your skin. If you are not, it will be very easy, and your interviewee too will notice it. They will notice it and want to quickly end the interview. You want to watch out for their body language. You want to avoid leading questions that they will just say yes, no. You don't want. You want open-ended questions that they can explain themselves. They can tell you the story. Let them tell you the story. and then ensure that you are recording. From the place of getting consent, you also let them know that, oh, what they are saying, you're going to be recording. Is that okay by them? If they say, don't record me, don't record them. If they say you can write it down, but don't take my voice, don't take their voice. Don't do it. Don't do it. So get their consent, but let them know that you want to record. If they say don't record, but you can take notes, just do that. Then sometimes there's some interviews, there's some research that you will conduct that you will have to offer incentives. Initially, I used to question why we are offering our users incentives, but I realized that there's some interviews, there's some research that I conducted or that I was a part of, and I really wish they paid me. Why? The number of time, the time that they take to conduct those interviews, some of it requires that I spend my data. So imagine you sending me something and the file is so heavy and I have to return that file. Please pay me for my data usage. So there are some times that you can offer incentives. And I've also seen many people say when they want to maybe get feedback from a product that they are building, they want to test, and they need a large number. They know that if they send the link out, many people will not use it. They use the incentive to get people to give them feedback. We'll give you 5,000, we'll give you 10,000. Just give us your sincere feedback on this product, and they will be able to filter when excuse me, when it is just you trying to answer something and when you actually use it, because they will want you to actually use it. What you don't know is that they are using their one analytics to pick where people spent the most time, and they're getting their feedback. So whether you give them the exact feedback or not, they're actually getting good value for the money spent. So what are the users saying? Now we have conducted the interview, we have been able to discover the problem, we've been able to conduct the research. What have they said? What have they said based on the questions we have asked them? You are not just going to be relying on, oh, one person said this, therefore we should proceed to build. That's not how we know what our users are saying. From the group, from the survey that we have conducted, how do we group their feedback? Everybody said, oh, I don't like electricity. I don't like that we don't have electricity. I'm unable to do my job. I'm unable to interact with people when I need to. I'm unable to deliver on my job. Many people will have the same story. So what you are now doing after you have conducted the research is to now group them. 5 people said this, put all those statements in one group. There is actually a platform that we are supposed to explain this, but because of time, we may not be able to share that. At the end of this class, I would share my slide and include how to group users' feedback in such a way that by the time you're looking at it, you already have an idea of the features you want to roll out in the product. So you see that from everything that we are saying, it is the users that are identifying the problem. They are the ones that are bringing the solution, because it is from this feedback that they give you that you identify your solution. You don't build what you think is right. You build what they have said. Now, it means that the people that said similar things the most, they are the ones whose feature, that gives you like an idea of we should prioritize this feature. This is a must-have. The other things, this one was the next feedback that we got that had the next highest number. It's a should have. That's how you group or prioritize your features from your user interviews, from must have, should have, could have to won't have. There are some things that they will say, I don't like this one, and everybody is going in that direction, that this one cannot solve it, this one can. You already know that if you have that feature to your product, it's a waste of product, because people are not willing to pay for that particular solution or feature. Now that we have been able to conduct the interview, we've been able to map the problems into groups. Is it worth the stress? This is the meaning of validation. Validation means, is it worth the stress? The problem that we have identified, the solutions that people have preferred, the groups that we have created, is it worth the stress? The people in that group, are they people that can pay for a solution? You can have a group where they have so many, they've said similar things, but they don't have money to pay for your solution. Is it worth it? Do you want to build a pro bono product? You want to build a product that nobody is paying, and then maybe subsequently people will now begin to pay? For instance, when Upwork started, we're not paying any money for Connect. Now, even when you create, as soon as you create the account, you have to pay for Connect. So it started off with people are not willing to pay. Now they have grown to a level where people have got to pay. They are not building. If you can't pay, don't use our platform. That's all right. They are fine with you not being able to use their product. So validating is knowing, is it worth the stress? Is it painful enough for people to pay? Is this still frequent enough? Some problems, it's only once in a year that people experience it. There's no point building it, except by the time the problem wants to happen, the painful problem wants to happen, the money you will make is enough to sort you for the year. Let me give you a typical example. Dirty December. There's no dirty January. There's no dirty February. There's no dirty March. December is the only dirty. I don't know where we got that from, but people are solving the problem of dirty December from now. People are building shortlets. People are building resort centers, knowing fully well that when it's December, see what the peace they've had from January to November. In December, they will make the money. So you want to be sure that it is painful enough. People are willing to pay. It is valuable. People are willing to pay. They are willing to act, and they care enough before you start building. If all these 4 questions, you can't answer it, just know that what you are building is a free product. If you want to really build what people will pay for, ensure that you validate it. We have identified the persona. You see here again why the persona is very, very important. If you don't build the persona, you will not be able to group them. So you must be able to group them and now see, based on this group that have the highest similarity in issues, is this really painful to these people? Yes, it's painful. How frequent does this pain occur? Oh, it occurs almost every day. People that are dealing with electricity, it's almost every day. People that are dealing with internet connectivity issues, it's almost every day. How valuable is it? That's why when a new network provider comes today, people will migrate. Why? People are looking for ways to solve that internet connectivity pain that they have to deal with every day. So you see, we are validating gradually. And then will people be willing to pay? Yes, they will be willing to pay. So that's how you validate your problem. Now, quickly, we are running because of time. Once you've been able to identify that it is a problem that is worth solving, you want to have your problem statement. This is your vision that you will run with from now till that product life cycle declines or collapses. You will want to run with this problem statement. Identifying this problem statement, identifying your product's problem statement help you to stay on track, so that by the time you are doing something that does not is not consistent with the vision or with the goal when you're starting out, you can always realign yourself. So it often starts with the user struggle, the pain points that they're experiencing, under what context, and how does it lead to a negative outcome. So this your problem statement is a statement of problem. It's not a statement of solution. This and this and this are the problems that my customers are, is a statement of, so everything there is not positive, if I can use the word, is negative. Why? It's a problem statement. So one assignment I'm going to give us, or one task that I'm going to give us, is that based on our train of thought from the beginning, I said identify 3 problems. What user research technique do you want to use to validate this problem? Then map. After you've mapped, Now drive or write out your problem statement. And this is a very simple template. Your user segment, is it people at age 18 years living in Lagos, Nigeria? Like that, detailed and very specific. The pain points, the context, how they go through that pain point, and the negative outcome. This is their frustration, what they experience and by virtue of this pain point. So once you have your problem statement, you can now begin to run. You can now begin to run. There are some mistakes that early stage product managers and really some other product managers actually make in the process of engaging or conducting user research. One is that we assume that we know the problem. Oh, this is very common. When you hear something, oh, I know this problem, I've experienced it before, and you begin to run, you begin to build. You start building, and then you build a particular feature that you assume that everybody should be cool with, and you test it, and nobody is even looking at that feature. Yeah, that's one mistake that we make and will not be making from tonight. Another one is asking leading questions, asking a yes or no questions instead of the ones that allow your users to, express themselves, open-ended questions. Then interviewing the wrong users. This is when you don't set your persona. If you don't set your persona, you're on the journey to interviewing the wrong persons or the wrong people. In fact, it's a fast plane tickets that you have bought when you don't draft your persona. Then ignoring edge cases. Most times we focus so much on how we want things to run, and we don't put into consideration how we do not want things to run. I want to be able to log on this application, put my email and phone number, password, place an order, checkout. That's most of the time. That's how we think. We don't think of, what if I put my email address and my phone number and I'm not logged in? We're not preparing for edge case handling at all. So in the place of asking questions, don't just ask questions on A to B to C. Ask questions from A to G and go back to B. Something that can disrupt the natural flow of things. And from there, you will be able to pick real and important insights. This one is also very common. People focusing on solution instead of problem. You will notice that from everything we talked about, not once did I mention we are trying to find solution. We are trying to understand the problem. We are trying to understand the problem. The solution will come from the people you are talking to, not from you. Then collecting feedback without following up for clarity. Sometimes your users will give you a response that you are not sure, and then you begin to assume that's what they mean. Get clarity from them. Don't assume for your target market. And then after you have gotten the feedback, don't just now say, okay, I've gotten the feedback, let's start building. You must map. That's the only way you can be clear from what everybody has said. Everybody will say many things that are similar, many things that are diverse. You become clear when you're able to map it. Then over-relying on your personal opinion or biases. We have said this more than once, that your cousin likes it does not mean everybody in Nigeria will like it. Or that you think is a nice idea in your head will not necessarily make it right. Then analyzing feedback superficially without looking for patterns. When you are mapping, what you're looking out for, patterns. What is common? What are the similarities? What is everybody saying that align? That's what you're trying to do. You don't just say, oh, everybody said it. And just, you want to compartmentalize the feedback that you have gotten. Not documenting or sharing your research findings properly. This one begins from getting consent from your users. Don't assume that, oh, I like the story that this person is telling me and you're just listening. You want to be noting down what they are saying, how they are saying it, because like I mentioned, you're also looking at body cues. You are looking at how they are saying it, what they are saying. Then stopping research too early before patterns begin to emerge. Some people interview 5 people and they think they have conducted a research. Best believe you will not get any correct pattern from interviewing 5 people, depending on what you're trying to solve. So finally, we're going to look at how you can use AI as your research bestie. I'm not going to dwell on this a lot. There are tools that you can use to analyze your interviews. When you do Google form easily to even analyze the interviews or the survey for you. So yes, there are tools like that that you can use to detect patterns and generate insights. Always take advantage of AI tools at your reach. In fact, you can actually vibe code. I know that I'm not supposed to talk about that here, but you can actually vibe code something to analyze your interviews for you. That'll be all for another day, I guess. So that will be all for our conversations today. I'm open to taking your questions, your feedback. Yeah, I'm taking questions now. Thank you very much for your time.
Wow. Thank you so much for the amazing session, Mercy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. All right. Does anybody have any question? Any question for Mercy before we call it a night?
All right,
Any
thank
question?
you.
Okay, would you?
Yeah, this is really so insightful, and I want to appreciate our presenter for this exhaustive session, honestly. My question is on mapping. I wanted to ask, I heard when she said AI can help us to conduct our user research. What about mapping? Do we also have tools that we use for it? Thank you.
Okay. So I didn't say AI can help you conduct the research. You can use AI to analyze the information that you get. That was what I said. Not that you use AI to conduct your user interviews. You want to conduct the interviews yourself. You want to read body reactions and responses. So except you use maybe a Google form or Survey Monkey. That's you using technology, but you will still be the one to input the questions that your interviewees or the people that will be filling the survey will be responding to. You will still be the one. So in essence, you are the one still conducting the surveys, conducting the interviews, but in analyzing, you can use AI tools. For mapping, there are quite a number. I think I'm going to share a link with us on how you can map your tools. In fact, the best way to map your tools, if you are using pen and paper, just imagine that you have spoken to 100 people. Mapping using pen and paper would waste your time, but there are tools like Miro. I know many people pronounce it different ways. Some people call it Miro. It's Miro. You can use it to map your tool. Let me just quickly share my screen. Let me show you what it looks like. Let me know when you see my screen. Can you see it? Okay. So there are tools like this. You just download it and set up the feedback. So for instance, this particular solution says, what are the problems with the way our team currently runs meeting? See, some people had conversations around timing. Somebody said meetings are too long and feel rushed. Another person said meetings are too long and drag on forever. Another person said some recurring meetings are unnecessary. Another person said too many meetings are scheduled during peak hours or busy time. See, everything is under timing. 4 people gave this feedback, but what 4 of them are saying is under timing. Another group that you identified based on the feedback, focus. 3 people said, one person said, too many meetings don't have an agenda or clear goal. Another person said, people jump in with tangents or unnecessary topics. Another person said, meetings don't have a facilitator to keep the conversation on track. And then you have another issue that you identify. So you see all these things, people said them, excuse me, but with mapping, you can now see that the major issue is timing. Other issues, you have focus, you have attendees. So let's assume this is a product that you want to build and people have given this feedback. You want to look at this one with the most feedback. Then you want to consider the people in this segment, because remember, these points that we are saying, there are people that said it. Is it a pain enough for them? How often do they experience this issue? Are they willing to pay? Are they willing to pay? If they're not willing to pay, you move on to the next one. And then that you are building for these people does not necessarily mean that you may not add some of these details in what you will build. You may, because these people that have these issues might also have some of these issues. And it's until you bring it to their focus that they will see that, oh, we actually have this issue to solve. Do you understand it now? So you can use Miro, you can use Lucid charts, but for time, because we are entry level, we might be, we may not have enough time to explain how those tools work. But Miro and Lucid chart, it's just like your typical sticky notes. You know how you want to write something on your sticky note and paste on your table to show that these are the things you need to resolve. That's how that Miro works, Lucid chart. You will just go on the link where you have, let me see if I can open. Coach B, do I have time to present on Lucid chart?
You can just,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Let me log into my account. Let me stop sharing first. So the way this application works is just like you using virtual sticky notes. That's it. And you just type in what you want. Okay, I'm logged into my account now because of my password that I... Sorry, can you confirm that you can see my screen now? Okay, so this is a free account. I'm not using a paid account. I just open it. Just give it a minute to open up. Okay, and then I come here, see sticky notes. I click on sticky notes. And then I can include a text. Let's do timing. I can reduce the text. Can reduce the text. Let me see, 10. And then I can so I can begin to put that statement that they made. Some meetings are too short and few rushed. So I can decide to do it like this. And then I can do another sticky note. And say this one is focus. It's 11. I can input the detail, or I can do this. Timing, and then do sticky notes for timing here. And put everybody's comments. So I can put a name and their comments, and then I can do focus. And I can use yellow for focus. And change the color here. Then I can do the third one. What's the third one? Attendees. And give it another color. Do we get it? So it's very simple. And what you are putting there, you're putting feedback from customers. Can you hear me now? Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Do we have more questions? Do we have any more questions?
Any other question? Uju, was your question answered?
Yes.
All right. In the absence of no other question, Uju, I think you can pray for us. Pray for us. Sure. We can't hear you, Uju. Are you speaking? If you are speaking, we can't hear you. Kosara, can you pray for us? Your voice is faint. Your voice is faint. We can't hear you.
Is it better now?
Yes, better.
Headset's ready.
Yes, it's better now.
All right. Father, we thank you for this night's session. Thank you for the wisdom. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for the knowledge you have impacted on us. And we pray and we ask that all that we have been taught, that you give us more wisdom and understanding to implement them in our various career paths. And we pray that as we are going to bed this night, that you send your Holy Spirit to be with us, to guide us, and may we have a blissful night's rest. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for that prayer. Thank you to everyone who joined the session. Good night and have an amazing weekend ahead. For those of you in the group, don't forget your presentation tomorrow. Yeah. All right. Good night, everyone. Okay.